Okay, recording.
Change my shirt already, so I don't represent the Kung Bang. Alright.
You just mentioned it.
Okay, perfect. Can.
Part of the plan to mention it.
Part of the plan. Okay lah, not bad.
Alright.
Okay, yeah, I
We
like
get
it.
the host to come in.
What do you mean the host? This is your place, right?
It's your show, dude.
Hey, don't move lah, I'm gonna double check,
Doesn't
right?
matter lah. What the
I gotta fucking double check, right? Okay. Wait.
iPhone, no wide angle, noob shit.
Bitch, I will have the fucking lens.
Okay, anyway, okay.
Next
Okay.
one. Hey.
Alright,
Okay. So, okay, the first thing is first is you need to come up with a topic. So we need a topic that.
okay, before we even come to the topic, let's just address the whatever audience that is right now. Then we
Wait, let me check.
Then we ignore it. Then we ignore it after that.
Yeah, it's recorded.
So we address and acknowledge first. So we're gonna say that we've actually been talking for the past maybe 2 hours
2
or so now,
hours, yeah.
with a lot of topics, a lot of like really deep, we find very interesting topics.
Yeah.
And we thought to ourselves, wow, if this is recorded, man, it's gonna be a really good podcast. So right now, for the rest of our chill night, it's post MCO. We're gonna
Just might as well just do it lah,
so
right?
just do it. So we're gonna record you now. We're gonna leave you and we're gonna continue our chat session. The reason why we're having papers in front of us is
Yeah,
just
so that I guess we can write down our ideas,
In case
our
you want to take out
topics,
notes or
and then
whatever.
hopefully in the future also maybe if we can answer questions. then that'd be nice.
Yep.
But right now it's just very bad. We're just recording it. We don't really care in terms of like what we say here.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So topic.
Okay. So wait. What were some of the things that we talked about
Let's
just
look
now?
at each other and then forget the fact that it is recording. That's how it is, right? That's how.
Fair enough.
Okay. Start with talking about a lot of serious stuff. Like we're talking about number one. We talked about
It's like good deeds.
good deeds and publicizing it.
Publicizing it.
Publicizing
to
it.
social media.
Like, is it really good deed? And
Yeah, if you publicize it. And then you mentioned about Jim Carrey saying that like you know,
yeah.
don't fucking go up to a homeless person
Correct.
and then take a video of him while you give him like $5. That's not a good deed. That's just what do you call it? Shock sendiri,
Yeah.
as Malaysians say.
It's driven by self-interest, and then also we talked about sort of bringing in the whole communism and capitalism notion about how Adam Smith talks about if everyone is driven by self-interest, which is equivalent of individuals who publicize their good deeds, then actually more good deeds are done. Unfortunately.
But that's the
So I
other
guess,
spectrum of the debate.
Let's jump
right?
into that. Let's jump into that.
So that's the other spectrum of the debate, right? Whether if you publicize your good deed, you are actually influencing others to do good deeds also.
Okay.
Are you though? Or is it just more of a short sendiri and the fuck is that lah?
Sponsored by Coke, man. We are sponsored by Coke. Anyway, yeah, it is water. Okay, continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's whether or not when you publicize your good deed, are you actually like fucking influencing people to do it,
That's
or are
right.
you just shock sendiri and just
That's
doing
right.
it because of self-interest and
Yeah.
So I think most of our perspectives at the time when we talked about it
At the balcony, having
in the balcony having a smoke, we were saying that if you publicize your good deed, you're not actually doing a good deed. You are just shock sendiri. If you do a good deed, you do a good deed because it's a good deed. That's it. You don't need to
without
post it.
in closed doors, without anyone looking at it, right?
Correct. That's what I mean. At the bare, at the base, at the very base and bare, the fact that you do a good deed is because it is good. That's it. It's because you are helping someone. You don't need to fucking publicize it and fucking post it on social media and Instagram. You should be self-aware that it's good and you're helping someone. That's it. You stop, then you move on.
So then moving on to the next thing, right? I mean, segueing to the whole thing. What is actually driving this behavior? Social media, right?
Social media is one thing, and it's also especially during the current like lockdown period, everybody is like, oh, like want to help like the frontliners, for example, right? Like you want to like belanja a meal for, let's say, for Foodpanda or Grab
gosh.
drivers.
Yeah.
It's just to show that, okay, yes, maybe you really make their day by whether giving by a comma or like buying them a meal or whatsoever. But it's like, okay, if you're comfortable with your own self already, like, then what is your intention of posting it and publicize it? Because it's like, oh, you want to publicize it because you feel good about it and you want to gain like brownie points for yourself, like, oh yeah, this guy is like doing this because then we should follow whatsoever. Or is it because that, yeah, I just want to share this good practice and then you want to spread this awareness and then you want everybody else to adopt it. So that's why we come from in this form of debate, in the sense that, yeah, okay, you want to make good at this current time period. You want to like help those frontliners because they are out there all the time and their livelihood, you want to help their livelihood, so on and so forth. But at the same time, it's like, really, do you really like do this just to really help them, or is just to make yourself look good at this point in time? So that's where we come from now, basically.
So actually, honestly speaking, right, I mean, this sort of like leads us to the whole topic of like, I guess it's not really the act of doing good deeds, it's more of like the use of social media.
Yeah.
I personally am going to share something that's quite personal in the sense that,
and then you feel good about it, right?
So I'm quite personal about social media when it comes to the use of social media, because at some point in time when I first started Instagram, I don't know about you guys now, when I first started freaking Instagram, right, I was posting things very mindlessly. So in a sense, I don't really care about what I post. I don't really have the intention of trying to get like external validation as well.
Yeah, just to document like what you're doing.
Correct. So a lot of people use it as sort of like a form of personal journal, right? Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Until I met individuals in my life,
Okay.
whereby I'm like, I started.
Tinder matches lah.
Oh shit, dude!
No.
Maybe
Back-
Tinder haven't started, bro.
Correct. Back then Tinder didn't have yet.
Can't.
But honestly, like that I started questioning, like, hey, why the hell are we using freaking social media?
Yeah.
So, which goes back to the whole topic of like, it's not really like the act of doing good deeds. It's more like what I do on social media to gain that popularity or that personal branding.
Self-validation, whatever.
So that's what really ticks me off. Like, to be completely honest, when I really consider to date someone as well. Okay, completely honest stuff, right? One of my criteria is that I definitely, if I had access to their personal Instagram, I would look at how often they post posts that is self-glorifying, or like to highlight themselves, to try to show what they're doing. To be completely honest, I mean, sometimes I fall victim into, it depends. It's very hard to measure someone's intention on why they post a single picture.
No, but that's the thing, right? Social media is a platform for people to post good shit about themselves. No one's gonna post some fucking bull crap about themselves, right? Like some negative crap about themselves. Unless they are trying to like
spread awareness about the shit.
Either one, spread awareness, which is the one spectrum, or the other spectrum, which is, I mean, you know, get validation lah, and fucking like post it because you need that type of validation, which unfortunately, I mean, like, fair enough, some people do need that, and some people do need that, and I mean, whatever. Like,
Being too reliant on it to get that self-validation, and it turns out to get your self-confidence, and then if you don't get like the expected amount of like response or whatsoever, and then you feel down about it. So it's like binding your life by number of likes you get.
Basically tagging your self-worth.
Correct.
But I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because a lot of people have the, I mean, I don't know, when it comes to social media, it's hard to say, because some people who genuinely have the intention to be building a personal branding that is separate from their true identity. It's different. Like take for instance, I don't know. Okay, like so I'm Jen, for example. If you know she is I mean, based on my observation, she is a very she's a comedian. But is that who she really is? Like, in front of the screen, she is funny. She holds different personalities.
Yeah, but off the camera,
she might be something different. Right?
No, but
she's intentional about her profile, because she wants to. That her profile is her business, right?
Yeah.
But some people, unfortunately, doesn't draw that line between who they are and who they portray themselves
Yeah.
as.
So that's the thing, right? Like with I guess so and
I like where
Jen,
we're going with this.
I guess with So and Jen, what she posts is that there's an intention to be a comedian, right? Like to be funny, etc.
Intentional, purely
It's
for
intentional.
for economic.
Correct.
It's a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then unfortunately for like you mentioned, like some people who post on social media and things like that, I think it comes out that they have intention to look a particular way and then make that particular way, the way that people see them.
Yeah, portraying themselves in a
correct,
certain
correct.
image,
Correct.
then to get
Correct.
like the certain kind of validation that you wanted from other people.
So it
Yeah.
goes back to like going back to the good deeds thing, right? When you do
Yeah, okay,
a good deed
good
and
deed.
then you post it on social media, you are trying to validate with
That
people
you
that you
are
are a good
a
person
decent
and
person,
you are
yeah.
fucking like fuck, he's amazing. Wow, this guy is so damn nice.
Well, what's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like
it,
okay,
it
for example.
totally takes away the whole
No, then for example, there's a lot of people I realize like during Raya and things like that.
Okay.
They'll
okay.
post on social media like they delivered food to people, like to friends and shit like that and blah 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 and what have you, and then post that, which is I guess I mean fair enough, but at the same time like the reason you want to do that is to just I guess not add value but make someone happy, right?
Okay.
And that in itself should be enough for you.
Yeah.
But if you post it, then it's like a little bit extra, and then it's shocks and delay. It's the same thing as what Jim Carrey mentioned, right? Like when you want to do a good deed
Yeah.
and give money to a homeless person, don't fucking go up to them and then shove the
Shove
fucking
the
camera
camera,
in their
yeah.
face.
Exactly. Because like, yeah, man. If I was a homeless person, and when I'm given something that I need, take for instance a food, a pair of shoes, whatever it is lah. If there is a freaking camera in front of my face, I really don't know how to react. I don't have to react. Like I don't know how to react. I don't know if I should react with gratitude. I guess I am obliged to react with gratitude.
Yeah, because now you're being videoed.
I feel like being watched.
Yeah.
Um,
But you see, I mean, okay, like for example, right? I mentioned to you guys, right? Like when I went to Mid Valley, and then there was a person that came up to us while I was having a smoke on the side of the road. There was a person on a motorbike. They drove by and then they came by us. And then the guy mentioned his story lah. Like he was saying, oh bang, assalamualaikum, aku nak tolong. And then he actually like brought out minyak, you know the minyak bottles, right?
Yeah.
He said, oh aku baru pergi
Minyak
KK
masak.
Mart. Yeah, 7-Eleven, and then said, oh shit, aku baru beli minyak ni, tapi belum makan lagi, so I need some money to buy food lah, because
To-
apparently he didn't have
to
any
cook lah.
money. Yeah, no, not to cook, but to
Eat lah.
essentially eat lah.
minyak for himself, man.
Yeah, minyak for himself, but he didn't have any food, money to buy food, right? So the guy had the bravery to come up to me and then ask for money to buy food, and then
Before you talk about what your response is, like
Yeah.
what you think would be typical.
I don't know,
It's bad to generalize, but what do
it's
you think
hard
would be
to
a typical Malaysian's sort of inner thought process? Like how would
But I
they?
feel like, yeah, so I don't know. Inner thought process is that most Malaysians, I guess, they be very, very
Skeptical.
yeah. No, okay, not most Malaysians. Sorry, most people would be quite skeptical. Lah.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you
But-
coming up for me, you want
Yeah.
to ask for money
But-
or whatever.
But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that when that happens and you give money to the person, then you do it because it's you're helping that person, right? And there's no issue to it. So once you do it, it's done. But when you post it on social media, you glorify that act.
Yeah.
When you glorify that act, you make that act seem so fucking unique, so fucking special,
Okay.
that somehow giving money to people becomes a rarity. It
Mm.
becomes uncommon. When in actual fact, it should be the opposite. It should be so fucking common that when someone does it, no one thinks twice about it. No one thinks, holy fuck, that person is so fucking nice, so fucking good. No, it shouldn't be like that. It should be, oh yeah, sure, the guy gave him money. Good lah.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. It's so it should be so common to the fact that people don't think twice about it. When you glorify an act like that on social media, it makes it so that those type of acts become very, very rare. And
Just focus on the act instead of like the actual deed. in a
Yeah,
sense.
And,
correct.
and I think it's also like creating sort of like a negative perspective as well as like, oh, you're helping these people because just you feel like it and you kasihan them or whatsoever. probably not. These people, they are living through harsh conditions and they really need help, and that's why you do it, because you really want to help them.
And then if you publicize it, the focus is not on their need, it's more on your act.
Yeah.
Which is this
Yeah,
stuff.
correct.
Far out.
Exactly. It's not about your act, it's about helping the person. It's about like you just helping the person. That's it. That's
But
the
then
bare
again,
minimum.
like, what is the argument between like, because there is also some sort of like I mean, if you're gonna look at the flip side, right, there is also a certain power in terms of publicizing it. Like, take for instance, like let's say CSR or like any
Politicians.
politicians or any crowdsourcing stuff that actually publicize their good work to get people interested in actually participating in it. There are a lot out there that I can think of, like take for instance, I participated in Epic, where I built sort of public infrastructure for the less fortunate and stuff like that. But without those publicity, right?
Did you actually do it?
I did.
No, but that's what I'm saying. People think that without posting it, they assume that other people don't think that you did it.
So at the end of the day, there's a fine line between spreading awareness versus the true intention of actually doing that good deed. So what is that awareness for? Is that awareness to highlight the person in need, or to highlight the good deeds that you're doing, right?
Yeah, self-gratification.
Damn.
I guess that's the grey area that everyone is struggling with at this current era, in the sense that, look, if you have like a good intention to really like spread awareness, I mean, fair play to you whatsoever, because your intention is really want to spread awareness and to encourage more people to do good deeds and whatsoever, right? But at the same time, it's like, okay, are you doing it just because there's a camera shoved in front of your face?
Just like right now, right? Are we talking in a certain sense, or normally we have more like fucks? Like,
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, gotta be more natural.
I mean, that's why are we looking at that freaking thing, right?
So,
But that's true. Whenever there's a camera, whenever we feel that people are watching, honestly,
we're a bit more self-aware of what we do.
and honestly, even myself, like I normally,
even now.
like normally I swear more than I do right now, but because this thing is about fuck it lah, I don't give a fuck
yeah,
anymore.
that's why.
Let's keep this space real.
For the fuckers who know us, you know, generally.
So if my church
Oh,
members
yeah.
are watching this, I'm sorry, man. I guess I'm
Well,
Yeah, he's a pre-dad lah, that's why.
Forgive me, Lord. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, what we were saying,
that's
we were
bad.
saying about good deeds, right? Being
Yeah.
publicized on social media, whether it's something that should be done or
I mean, it ticks me off. Like, take for instance, if you look at my Insta feed, right? Ben UJH at it's a private profile. I don't public my profile. I don't public private. Like, I don't have the dilemma.
Hey, this fucking podcast about you or what?
It's not about me. But what I'm trying to say is like, I do have initiatives as well that I post. If I were to really think about my post, right? I have this series called the LRT Tales. If you looked at it. But then again, it's not to glorify myself, I reckon. It's to tell story. I like to tell stories about. Have you guys? You guys have.
What are you talking about?
Basically, it's like Humans of New York, but basically my version is Humans of the LRT Kelana Jaya line.
oh yeah.
And what I do is basically, when I was doing it, right? When I was,
No, I remember.
yeah. When I was doing it, I tried to challenge myself to my goal was to challenge myself to approach people,
Random strangers.
and which is very
Uncommon,
uncommon
especially in our
Malaysia.
culture. Yeah.
And to just ask them as one question, the basic question is like, if you had a chance to speak to your 21-year-old self, what would you? What is one piece of advice you would give to that person? Which I did, right?
Segue.
It was fun. Segueing. Not trying to plug in my freaking Instagram.
But it's a good segue.
But what I'm trying to say is like, what do you think of that post? Is it self-glorifying, or is it more like, I mean, I guess it depends on how the story is told, right?
I guess it depends on your intentions though.
I guess
What was your intentions about it?
my intention is to really, I okay, I guess back then my intention was to really spread the awareness of connecting with people. Because I like to connect with people.
Especially like
In the Asian context.
every day when you travel like in public transport,
Yeah, everyone's
everybody
just like,
Yeah,
on their
everyone's
phones.
phone.
So it's like, what the hell have we become? Like, it's like essentially going against our human nature, right?
yeah.
So it's like,
Oh my god, one of the things that pisses me off so much is when you see like a group of like a family or a group of people,
It's like,
and
oh,
everyone's like, "What the
shit.
fucking fools?"
And we're all guilty for that, lah.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
For
yeah,
sure,
I'm
for
guilty of
sure.
it.
I'm guilty
There'll be
of that.
moments like you will notice also that when there's silence, everyone will pick up their phone and be like, "Oh, I'm so fucking important. I need to message this guy."
But
It's just so that you
but
avoid
why?
the awkwardness.
Let's ask the why.
It's awkwardness. It's fucking awkwardness.
I think we need to freaking, we as Malaysians, as an Asian culture, it's a collective freaking culture that doesn't really express our fucking emotions, right? It has to really, really find a way or a freaking SOP or a way of dealing of how to deal with awkwardness, awkward silences.
Yeah. I don't think that's an issue to have an awkward silence. Though. I don't
It's
think it's
fine.
an issue to have a silence.
I
Like,
agree.
I have no issue like if everything's silent, I'll just stare off into space and then I'll just think
yeah,
about
like you just
my
do
kind
your
of
own
shit.
thing, you're being collective and
Yeah.
with your thoughts. And
There's
so
no
on, so
issue.
forth.
Like you don't need to talk 24/7 during the conversation.
So what fueled this idea that there needs to be a constant dialogue?
because I feel like
Is it fucking social media?
no, I think it's because people have this
Common struggles, common topics.
no, I feel like people have this thinking that they always need to be doing something. They always need to look busy.
Need to be shown
Wow.
themselves
Yeah.
that
They always need to look like
Oh,
they
they're
are
doing
doing something.
you're active.
If they are not doing something, they seem weaker. Not weaker. They seem weird. Weird. Like weird
Hence
motherfuckers.
social media, man.
Yeah.
I always want to show that I'm onto something. I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm starting a business. I'm starting a podcast.
Like it's really
It is as real as it gets, man.
Yeah,
Shit.
no, but like honestly, it's okay to not do anything.
anything.
To be like silent
Yeah.
for a moment and just not and just think.
Especially in this busy world,
Yeah.
there's
I think
so much distraction.
I think the Thai people has it going, man. Sabai.
What?
You know what Sabai is?
Do I look Thai?
If I'm not mistaken, Sabai is basically, it's just like a saying whereby it's like, chill, relax,
Hello,
take it
Papa
easy.
Roger.
Let you.
Let you.
But nowadays, people when there's the silence, everyone just picks up their phone, go on Instagram, Facebook.
It's a defense mechanism, right?
It actually is.
It is.
It
So,
actually is.
Like, okay,
Okay,
honestly,
right.
okay, sorry to interrupt, right?
No, go ahead.
If we're gonna have this freaking practice right now, if we're gonna keep silent for 10 seconds and just look at each other, like literally just look at each other, it's gonna be awkward. Let's try.
No, but I don't feel like.
Shut up! You freaking failed it, man.
Oh, okay, fine.
But it's okay. I mean, that was a good piece of content.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
because
fair
it's
enough.
like when we're in such moments, we're like thinking of like, okay, shit, what I need to say to keep things going. Or what's
Yeah,
the-
correct. Exactly.
And you also be fucking curious about, okay, what this other person thinking. We look
Yes.
at
We're always constantly worried about what people think about.
Yes,
Correct.
that's the thing.
That's the most fucking
We have
thing.
figured it out.
It actually is though. It actually is.
External validation.
No, external validation is one thing, and also external judgment. We're always thinking that. See, I
External
recently
judgment.
come across this video that, okay, probably it's hard to reference it, but it's basically like how beautiful the mind is in just thinking about things that it's not relevant. Like we just overthink things, and then we realize actually our minds went for a trip, whereby actually everyone is just thinking about something else.
Yeah.
When we're keeping it silent for 5 seconds, let's say even if I'm on a one-on-one date with you, right, take for instance, if you're quiet, I'm like, oh shit, thinking, oh shit.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
And then you feel like, hey, this fucker is like a weirdo or whatever.
So I think.
And then you have to think, oh, I need to come up with something to talk about.
Yeah.
So how was your day? And then it's just like, what the fuck?
It's so forced.
So
right?
fast. Oh my god, it's so fast.
And then you feel like, what's
And then it's not smooth.
What's this
Yeah, it's
fella
not smooth.
trying to ask, right?
So I think at the end of the day, you know what it boils down to? If we freaking dissect this shit. Societal expectations.
Yeah, we value too much on societal
What
external
people- other
validation
people-
Because we
rather than
expect.
yourself.
I mean, if you think about it, right? How social media and how minimal attention span we have, right? It's like we expect quick response even if we're using an app, when the internet
Googling,
is small and
whatever.
slow and stuff like that, we don't really have that connecting thing and thing anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's the same with human communication.
But honestly though, like I want to ask you.
Shit, it's recording, man. Sorry.
It's recording.
Okay, cool. 25 minutes, man.
Trust me.
Oh shit. Okay,
No,
yeah.
but honestly, I want to ask you guys.
Good shit, man. It's good shit.
Wait, I want to ask you guys. What makes you? Fuck you, Dave. So unnecessary. What makes you, when you're alone in a cafe, let's just say for example you're in a cafe or a mall, what makes you force yourself to? What makes you pick up that phone and then scroll through Facebook and Instagram when you can just leave it and just? And I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. When they eat alone, when they're alone or whatever, they need to pick up the phone.
Okay.
And
I have an answer to that. But anyone else? I'm right on first. That's a very good point.
Probably like just to be seen that
you're doing something.
you're
right?
doing something, or you like if you're super introverted, it's like don't come and bother me. I need my alone time.
True.
Whatsoever, I'm focusing on something. Yeah.
Okay.
True.
That's a very interesting point.
I agree to the first point that people need to seem busy
Doing something.
or doing
Yeah.
something, and the main reason for that is because they're so worried about what other people think.
Correct.
And unfortunately, the case is that when you're at a cafe and there's people around you, at the end of the day,
No
you
one's
will-
actually looking at you.
No, that's one thing. Yes, correct.
No one's actually
No
giving a
one-
shit what you're doing.
No one fucking cares what you're doing. And secondly, you will never meet them again. So why the fuck should you care about
Fucking hell, amen to that.
what
Fucking hell,
other
yeah.
people think?
Oh, making social distance, my ass. Okay, I'll get some sanitizer.
Yeah, fucking hell. But yeah, I think that's what I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Very good point. How we brought up. It's basically how I brought up in the sense that whereby it's sort of a defense mechanism whereby you defend yourself from looking as if you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There's
that's
this
the
notion,
thing.
right? You don't want to seem as if you're boring.
Yeah, correct.
Even in a social setting, let's say in a social setting where drinks, no one's talking to me. I need to seem as if I don't want to look like no one's talking
or
to me.
you doing this intentionally just to stir curiosity from other people.
Yeah.
You want to get their attention to try to come to you. It's like, oh, probably this guy, what is he so focused about?
But then again,
Yes,
it's
or
like
whatever.
counterintuitive because then when you look at your phone, you're giving out that vibe whereby don't approach me because
Yeah.
I'm doing something right.
Right, just fuck off. Yeah.
So I guess that's what people want to show because actually, by right, the more they want people to approach them, the more they want to connect with someone,
Or,
but they can't. Therefore, they close themselves.
yeah, or even it's their own self-coping mechanism.
No, yeah.
Hey, I myself am guilty of that.
Yeah.
But I have another perspective of looking at it. That's a very fair perspective. Another perspective of mine is like when I'm working, for example, or I'm not doing anything that I mindlessly just scroll internet. It's because of the dopamine rush. For some reasons, I don't know what freaking Instagram UI UX designers have figured out a way to get me very sticky to the app, to make me basically, perhaps if I'm going to break it down, it's that fear of missing out.
Actually, you know, like on that point, a lot of like social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, etc.
Yeah.
They create their platform based on gambling methods.
Oh.
So gambling method meaning to say like you always have this forecast or this thinking that you're gonna get something good in the future. Like gambling lah, like okay, if I do this, there's a chance that I will get something good.
Bigger
And then-
reward. or-
Yeah, a bigger reward.
Yeah.
Because you're in freaking app development, is it?
I'm not a fucking app developer.
No, you're freaking working for it.
Fucking lah. But no, but the thing is, it's that reward. There's this, you know,
Mysteriousness,
that you get the
yeah.
correct. So then in Facebook, that reward is a like, is a view, etc., etc.
Piece of shit.
So then, what happens is when you post something, you get that reward, which is a like or whatever, and you want more and more and more.
Recognition.
Which is a gambling thing.
validation.
It's a gambling thing, but
I mean, isn't that what we're doing at the moment? No, are we doing that like this podcast, talking about real shit and trying to hope that
You
people
can
are?
comment if you want.
Maybe we are, maybe
Yeah.
we're not. Who knows? But who cares? That's the question.
I honestly want to challenge people to eat by themselves, don't touch your phone, and just fucking like look into space. That's it.
Yeah, or even
And then-
enjoy your fucking food.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And then you look up
Mm.
and you look and you see the people around you and you count how many people are staring at you. Because at the end of the day, I
No one
guarantee
is.
there'll be 0 people because 0 people give a fuck about what you're doing.
Exactly. I agree with that because so long we have like every time when we see I've come across a lot of people, even myself sometimes I feel right. I have this feeling when I walk into a restaurant. I feel like, wait, is it me or everyone's like looking at me?
Yeah.
But the thing is, when they pay you 2 seconds of glance, then you feel like they're looking at you.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like everyone has this the world revolves around them type of thing.
It's right, man. But it's the case is the truth is right. No one has time to think about you because they're all worried about.
Themselves.
They're all thinking about the same thing. They're thinking that you're looking at them,
Yeah.
whereby you're thinking that that you're thinking that they're looking at you. But the truth is,
No
So
one
what-
gives a fuck.
Yeah. So why does this type of behavior come up? Is it because of people on social media following influencers?
I
and
think
things
so.
like that?
I think social media is driving it because if we look at in a digital-less world,
They're setting the norm.
we look
of
at like our
social
1950s, right?
behavior. Yeah. Back then, our parents' days.
Imagine. Their life is simple. They don't really have this attention deficit, or whereby
And
they
they're very intentional when they want to like connect with people.
hence
Yeah.
Like
Even-
through their phone.
even
that one
intercultural
penny is like
cross-
that few minutes
Correct.
is like, fuck. I really have to like be intentional, be genuine in whatever that I want to convey my message
You're
to the
right,
other
man. I
person.
think right now we're just privileged in the sense that
We are, dude.
whereby we don't really treasure the instant connectivity that we
Yeah.
are given through technology.
That
So that's why
pure
technology is a
human
double-edged
connection.
sword, I think. Yeah.
So it's like, man.
Oh man, shit. Oh.
You see, that type of silence is okay.
It's fine.
Really okay.
Yeah, because we're drawn back to ourselves to like
Yeah.
reflecting
Yeah,
with our
correct,
thoughts. It's
correct,
like,
correct,
oh
correct.
shit, this is true. Oh
There's
shit,
no
this
harm.
might not be true. And then you debate.
Yeah. There's really no harm in staying silent and just reflecting and thinking.
But I mean, I personally enjoy people watching.
What?
I enjoy people watching.
Oh yeah, watching people.
Just sitting down
What they
and
do.
watching people and just trying to figure it out. Like I find this certain joy when I feel that someone thinks that I'm looking at them, but actually I'm not. Like I don't know. It's just a bit. It's enjoyable in the sense that I get to. I guess the word is being present
At the moment.
at the moment, at my sort of like environment and then the atmosphere, ambience, whatever you call it.
Absorb what's going on.
But I must say, like, the world, social media does a very good job at distracting me, pulling me into
Yeah,
the
man.
virtual world, pulling me out into the future, pulling me into the past,
And to make ourselves feel
shitty about ourselves,
shitty
not
or
enough.
good,
And you know what?
whatever.
Because
more attention.
we see other people posting about what they're doing. We see other people posting about like, oh, they're having a
So
really nice fucking dinner at a fucking fancy ass restaurant with some fucking
then
nice
you
food.
feel like,
I
wow,
want
this
it
fucker
to-
made it lah, so and so
Yeah,
forth. And then
yeah.
that's the self-doubt come in. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what
correct,
the fuck
correct,
am I doing?
Yeah,
man?
correct. So, oh fuck.
It's
oh.
killing people.
That can be good and that can be bad as well. It depends on how you channel the energy, right?
Yeah.
So, but most of the time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I can say majority of the time people take comparison in a more negative light. Because I can compare myself to, say, a very successful person and be like, I aspire to be that person, therefore I work harder. Versus like, oh shit man, that person is so good, I want to be like him too, but oh man, I feel like I'm not enough.
So it's like ties into certain set of expectations that how we should perform ourselves and behave ourselves.
So who creates that? Who sets that
Yeah.
benchmark? No one. Who sets that benchmark? Collective individualism? Let's
Like
talk
how
about
do
Americans and freaking
influencers
Asians.
do that, right? For example, influencers or people that you looked up to that you should behave in that certain way. Okay, it might be applicable and beneficial for themselves, but is it beneficial and applicable in our context? It might be different, right? So I guess end of the day it still like ties in back to you. Can you know what's best for you? And if there's something that tips or lessons that you can learn from other people, okay, sure, fine, go ahead, fair enough, and then apply for your particular context in that particular situation. But if you set like sort of like a certain norms or expectations that everyone should behave in that or perform in that certain way, it's like creating like a
Cookie cutter kind of.
yeah, you're being like too competitive with yourself.
You're being too fake.
Yeah, to the point where you drive yourself to, oh, I really have to be that way, otherwise I will feel like a weirdo.
A failure.
Yeah, or failure. Correct.
So I guess this sort of like segues us into sort of like, I wouldn't say it's a Malaysian thing, probably
Nah,
it's,
it's not
no, it's everyone.
it's more
people thing.
it's more of a collective versus an individualistic, like in more of an Asian context whereby we are brought up by nurture to always reference ourselves with a reference
Yeah.
instead of creating our own reference,
Like you
our
have to
dream.
study this, you have to do this type of job, otherwise you look like a weirdo.
But there is a pro and con to that, right? Because like look at as our conversation is now, look at Americans today, whereby they are very much like, oh, it is my right. But then again, I mean, it's hard to say because the whole my right mentality could be a herd mentality as well, right?
It is.
Be like everyone's like, oh, hey, you have your right, I have your right,
Right.
I also want my right.
Yeah, let's go do crazy shit.
Yeah.
That makes ourselves feel good.
So then what? Where is the fine line between collectivism and individualism? Holy shit, it's heavy shit.
Damn deep, man.
It's too deep, man. But anyway, let's keep it lighter. No, okay. We can go deep if you want to. We can keep it light if you want to. But you know what? Our notion is to see. I don't know what this is Malaysian for Malaysian, right? I guess indirectly our goal is to challenge the Malaysian existing status quo and mindsets,
Yeah, I agree.
in which we believe that our viewers, if they are not the bouncer babes and the
Why you gotta say that lah?
Dude!
the bouncer equivalent people, whereby we're more, I guess we're privileged. Honestly, I gotta say we're privileged to have this context, to have this mindset, because we don't even have to worry about it. But as I was saying, I guess my point is to say that what is our purpose of sort of speaking is sort of to eradicate mindsets that are limiting, right? I guess that's a good one.
But what is limiting?
Oh, that's
To us, it's
a good
limiting.
point. Oh shit, that's
To
deep
other-
shit.
No, but it's serious. Like to other people, it's not limiting. It's what they think
It could
about.
be empowering themselves, right? Because they feel like they are deciding something that everyone else is deciding. Therefore, they feel that they're. I guess to each his own, like them.
You know what should we call this podcast? Not everyone's cup of tea. Because it isn't. And that's okay. It's really okay.
It's fine. You do you, viewer.
We are challenging.
Unless you're like some fucking
the
serial
expectations.
rapist or some shit like that. Then
No.
you'll die lah.
If you are Tiger King, if you watch Tiger King, then yeah, you are just like, I don't know. To each his own. To each his own. As long as you're happy, no lah. There needs to be a certain order as well, right?
You have to be.
So then what's the fine line, you see? That's why we draw the line between that extremely left-wing liberal and the right-wing conservative notion, right? What's that middle line? Like what is a balance? You have your super left-wing hipsters whereby, oh yeah, you know what, hey man, like hey brother, just surf every day and like just do whatever you want. Like your life is your life,
because
speak whatever
everybody
you
is
want.
gonna benefit from it.
And then it's ultra right wing whereby
Super conservative.
Fuck this shit, you die, I'm gonna survive.
not everyone's cup of tea. Or we should tell this like, bring your own cup of tea.
Oh,
Oh, is that good?
What?
What's that?
My nail. My nail. Yeah.
Nice stuff, man. So we just now what we've talked about good deeds and publicizing itself, and then we talk about social media and then the purpose of social media, like dopamine rush or like an escapism, sort of escaping, sort of, I don't know. Yeah. And then now we're in like individualism versus collectivism.
Started talking about America.
You want to talk about America right now?
Fucking America, man.
Karen, are you a Karen? Do you know
What
a
a
Karen?
fucking. Oh my god, that country is fucked to the ball.
Then again, right? So I have to be very like, okay, what do you guys think? Because whatever is appearing on my Facebook feed right now is extremely left wing content. Now this politics. Now this is completely like very left wing, and all they publicize is to just shit on the Republicans.
Actually, yeah, I realized that.
So
They're fucking hypocritical.
so one thing I watched, right? The only thing I watched that really made sense was, I think it was this content by this interview by this, I don't know what's his dude. He's interviewing Ray Dalio.
Ah, right.
So Ray Dalio said something about his son-in-law or something related to him, whereby he's creating this media company, whereby it's completely neutral in the sense that, take for instance, there's ABC topic. So there's ABC topic, right? He would highlight the left wing views and the right wing views. And then basically, so whenever when you see something from the left wing on this specific topic, you will also view the right wing on this specific topic. Then you
Balance
make,
of
then you
perspectives.
make your own
That's good.
Judgment.
yes. So that's, but then again, you see, the sad thing is that normally being a neutral, like whatever we're trying to achieve right now, although fundamentally we are not, because I think we are more inclined towards left wing. If we're going to be completely honest,
Unfortunately, yeah, most of us are left wing.
if we're going to be completely honest,
more liberal,
At least like left lah.
super
Yeah.
liberal. So we are.
but because we are
biased.
left, we can be on the right. I
What?
think so. No, because we are liberal in the sense that we are so,
We have the open mind to
we have,
see
yeah, the perspective
both
of the right wing as well.
perspectives. Yeah.
Completely left wing, can't see the right wing. Completely right wing,
Yeah.
can't see the left wing.
And unfortunately, a lot of media outlets and what have you, those who are left wing really cannot be open minded enough to see the perspectives of the right wing.
It goes to the right wing.
Yeah,
man,
correct.
Like
It's
Fox
vice
News,
versa.
like
It's vice
Sky.
versa. Whatever it is,
whatever.
CNN.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as unbiased media.
No, there's always an intention, man. Otherwise, they won't capture the
So-
audience attention.
So I saw this content once upon a time about from this right wing guy. He was very honest with himself by saying that it is human nature whereby whenever we see some a certain content, philosophy, or policy that is of the opposite end of our specific ideology, we would believe it as extremism. It's vice versa.
Yeah.
Because if I'm on the left, I would think the right wing is like, oh, freaking hell.
Yeah, like, you feel offended and shit.
Because I just the data just doesn't register, right?
Yeah.
Same goes with the other side. Like if I'm on the right, I'll think, oh, left wing is just.
So then the fundamental question is that are you or people in general open enough to listen and consider an opinion that is against yours?
Openness, right?
Yeah, correct. It's more of
Bring your own cup of tea.
yeah, I like it. I fucking like it.
Bring your own cup of tea.
Are you open enough?
My cup of tea is black. What's yours? Yours is white.
Are you open enough to consider another person's opinion? You don't need to agree, but are you open enough to consider their opinion and see it from their perspective and just listen? That's it. Don't like get fucking emotional. Oh my god, fucking
And
emotional.
also
people.
understand from their perspective why they think that way.
Yeah, it could be because of education,
That's true,
family,
that's
culture,
true, true.
background.
So let's challenge it. Let's challenge ourselves right now to bring it back home, whereby we're
Yeah.
talking about Malaysia.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about
Let's
that.
do that.
Who? Damn. I don't know. Who wants to start? A specific topic. Specific.
A conservative, religious person.
Oh, talking about religion, eh?
Versus
Oh,
open-minded,
Don't be so sensitive, yeah.
liberal person.
because we're in a multicultural country, multi-religion, multicultural.
Right. And we are lucky to be in this current.
So this type of
Greatest
conversation
part.
should be alright. Because that's how we connect. Like look at us. I mean, okay, we don't have a matcha here.
What?
Matcha, Indian.
Oh,
Or Kadazan or Iban or Lion.
Steph!
Okay, I don't want to be all too like too politically correct as well. But yeah, anyway. So let's talk about it. So yeah, you're lead the way, man. Religion.
What?
You're the most secular.
Yeah, what
individual.
is the most sensitive issue?
As a Muslim, That is okay.
Oh, thanks, man, for
Quote.
fucking identifying me. That is,
I mean, everyone knows you're Muslim, dude.
yeah, fair enough.
This is Johan. Oh, we didn't introduce ourselves yet. Let's introduce ourselves. My name is Ben. I am inclining towards the left wing, but still, I'm trying to identify myself as the middle to left wing in terms of my theology. I'm a banker, I guess. But I'm also very passionate about, the social, political, mental health, and just real talk. Just real talk. That's me.
I'm Johan. I'm a Malaysian.
Oh,
That's it.
damn.
oh shit, Malaysian.
Hey.
So shit, these things
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
fuck.
Oh shit, that's actually
She's
so
like-
good. Okay, I'm Hawi. Look, talking about these kind of topics has always been my key interest, and that's why I like study economics and currently working analyst, studying on policies and so on and so forth. So yeah, I guess this is where we talk about these kind of things, and especially in an open-minded manner.
That would be our introduction. I reckon if we're gonna edit this shit, if we're going to even publish it.
But
But anyway,
that's-
yeah. Back to the whole conversation on religion, dude.
Religion.
Oh man. Okay, while you start the engine rolling, I'm gonna go boil myself some noodles because I haven't had dinner yet. Okay, yeah. Start talking.
Yeah, especially in Malaysia, dude. Like, what is the most like fucking annoying thing? Okay,
I don't know.
especially arguing from religious perspective. It's like, oh yeah, this motherfucker.
Yeah, because fucking, I feel like most people, when it comes to religion, they don't understand the fundamental fact that religion is a private matter that is always between the individual and God. There is no such thing as a middleman to facilitate your discussion with God. There shouldn't be. Because at the end of the day, religion is an interpretation. And religion is and because it's an interpretation, there are different beliefs even within a single religion, which is why you get Christianity segmenting into Catholicism, Protestants, etc., etc. In Islam, you get Sunni, Shia, and that is created because there are different interpretations and there are different biases, influences, and thinkings. And because of that fact, because of the interpretations, it justifies the statement that religion should be a private matter between the individual and God. There shouldn't be an organization that determines an organization or social construct that determines how a person should believe in God or in their religion or whatever. It's always a private matter between the individual and God.
Personal relationship.
Yeah, correct, and I agree with that because I think it's like whatever beliefs or common practices that you want to apply on in your day-to-day life is personal.
Yeah,
And-
correct.
And I don't think it's like nice to force that belief upon other people who
Yeah.
might not, number one, understand your perspective in terms of your beliefs. Number two is like even they do understand it, why should they like come on board with your beliefs, right? So like over the past, like, okay, I'm not a religious person myself, like even though following my family, we do tend to follow like Buddhism, right? But like especially like studying abroad, you follow your friends to, let's say, to churches. There's a few times already that it's like, because you also curious, right? In the sense that, okay, you want to understand like, okay, why do they like carry out their sermons in that way, or why do they like argue that God is that the one and only that is the determinant of everything, right?
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I mean, for myself personally, I'm like, okay, I feel I feel like a bit uncomfortable with the way that they have to sort of impose that belief upon you. Because it's like you see so common in the sense that, oh, if you don't do these things in such way, or you don't like practice this routine in such a way, you go to hell. I mean, like, holy shit, if you say in such way, if I don't believe in hell, then how the hell am I going to get there, right? So that's why sometimes I feel very uncomfortable, because I believe that in so many religions and thinking of practices or whatever you want to call it, that there is certain common themes that is the same, because you want to advocate, you do good, be kind and whatsoever. But why do you want to like impose and enforce the belief that, oh, if you don't do these things such way, you're crazy, or you're like weirdo or whatsoever?
So that comes back down to the fact that it's interpretations, right?
Yeah.
So what gives me the right to tell someone how they should believe, or how they should follow a religion?
Exactly.
What gives the right for an ustad or an imam or whatever it is to tell someone how they should believe and how they should practice a certain religious way, or practice something?
Yeah.
People like that, it shows that, I feel like it shows that they are so arrogant and so
Insecure.
not insecure, but more of like so like high up on their high
Or
horse.
belong to
Correct.
a certain
So on their
elite
high
people.
horse,
Yeah.
that they cannot be open and minded enough to see that there are other ways to follow a particular religion, right? And they only think that their interpretation is the correct way. But honestly, like, who the fuck is telling you your interpretation is the correct
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah.
Like, there is
Like, who are you to judge me, or for yourself to judge others, to say that whatever you do that is wrong? So
Okay, but then at the same time, there is a fine line of what is right and wrong lah. Obviously, there's like murder is wrong, rape is wrong, pedophilia is wrong. So there are racism is wrong. There are things that are so wrong that fundamentally everyone should believe that it is wrong.
Who decides?
But then again, this is me imposing my morals and beliefs.
Nice. Really pointed that out.
So unfortunately, some people may not think that way, but I do think there are some things that fundamentally it is wrong. Fundamentally, it is bad.
Correct.
But for some people, it's not. I don't know. For me,
I think I see these things as sort of limitations that impose like structurally in our day-to-day lives, all the way up to how we run the world. Whether you want to talk about your government system, or your even how you want to like conduct yourself living in a neighborhood that contains like people from different backgrounds or beliefs and so on and so forth. So that's sort of like, I think it's a shame that it limits the potential of all of us in thinking that way. And then if we try to understand like different perspectives and different beliefs, then we can try to find like a common ground to make things better, right?
So I think this goes back to like people's childhood and how they were educated.
Correct.
I do believe that.
Primary socialization
correct.
from sociology.
Correct.
Yeah.
So a lot of like kids and things like that, when they are brought up and they are educated, they are unfortunately brought up in one particular path.
Yeah.
Because of their parents, family.
Education system, eh?
Their parents, the education system tell them that you need to follow this path, this one path. And that constricts them and closes them up to not be able to consider other opinions and other perspectives and other paths or thinkings and things like that, which when they become older becomes a quite big problem because they're not open-minded to consider someone else's opinion or belief. So, of course, this isn't generalizing. This isn't like saying everyone, but
So it's based on
quite a
our
majority.
observations.
Well, we're quite
Yeah.
privileged, right? Like we're all sort of educated overseas to a certain extent.
Correct.
We're
Yeah.
all exposed to a different way of looking at things. I guess which is why we always come back to the point of education whereby it should be. But then again, I think the education ministry should always be an independent ministry. What do you reckon? From a political
Well,
standpoint.
I guess like one good example that one country.
Smells kind of good.
Fucking tempting, right?
This is my dinner, guys. Okay, anyway, right,
Yeah.
continue. Yeah, you were saying?
I think like perhaps currently one country in the world that is trying to balance that diversity in terms of your social policies and of course with your economic policies is Singapore. I do take a keen interest in try to understand the way their thinking process in like how they develop their social and economic policies. I think all these years because like yes, like predominantly is a very predominantly ethnically is a very Chinese dominated society, but this they are welcoming in the sense that okay, we also want to take care of other races and their interests as well. In most of their policies are basically borrowed from around whatever that's implemented around the world.
But
But
this is usually biased to a certain extent though.
it is biased to a certain extent, but it is intentional.
Yeah, they publicize it like to create
Correct.
harmony, right?
It's intentional because number
Correct me if
one,
I'm wrong.
like for example, in terms of a belief system, it's more like a Confucius way of thinking. But in terms of implementation side of things, it's more like focusing and applying it from the Western perspective. Like one example would be their housing policies, their HDBs. So they do it very intentional in a very intentional way because like for example in one particular area they are allocating like a quota of like houses based on like the breakdown of ethnic population in that particular area. And they purposely make sure that it is they make sure that they have a good mixture of different cultures in that particular population so that they sort of create like that social cohesion, that community, right, in that sense. And then of course in those particular housing areas they have like childcare centers, kindergarten, schools, whatever, so that they make sure like right from the start when you celebrate your family, you have your kid, you grow up with different people, your culture. People might argue that it's very invasive, but they do openly admit that yeah, it's intentional because they want to create that social cohesion, right?
Like open-minded.
That particular community. Yeah, as compared to Malaysia, you have like your
secular
kampung baru.
schools.
Kampung baru is like predominantly
Oh
Malay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then in Puchong,
Actually, speaking of-
predominantly Chinese.
Sorry, speaking of the nature, I mean I don't know about Singapore, but what do you think about the racial segregation of Singapore in terms of not even okay? Obviously we know that in Singapore the majority is the Chinese, ethnic Chinese.
Yeah.
But despite the majority and the minority, how do they perceive each other? Like, is there a sort of a racial?
It's
conflict?
level playing field,
No,
and one main value that they impose on is meritocracy. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
regardless whatever background.
by
that-
merit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has an equal level of playing field. Like what you want to do is entirely up to you. So at least everybody start off from that same level playing field. Yeah.
Good.
I really strongly believe that in Malaysian education system, especially the public school, there needs to be not enforcement lah, but an encouragement that all schools and all public schools have equal racial diversity
But
for
that's
every
hard,
single class.
That's very hard.
It's hard lah.
It's
It's
a numbers game.
Unfortunately,
Numbers game.
It's a numbers game. Yes, I
It's
agree.
always a numbers game.
But then
unfortunately.
I feel like because like for me right, when I went to overseas like in Australia right, I always saw a lot of students from Malaysia
Clicking
Stick with their own cliques.
clicking with their own races.
See, that's the way
Which
it
is-
was brought up, right?
Yeah, but which is fucking bullshit, right?
It defeats the purpose,
Sorry.
lah.
Yeah,
Like,
correct.
what
It
the fuck
defeats
is
the
that?
purpose.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry.
It defeats the purpose of studying overseas, right? Like you
Yeah.
see, like fucking kumpul of, I don't know lah, whatever race, like Malay people like sticking together
Yeah.
by themselves, even though they're like in a fucking another country, and then it's the same for I don't know, like
So actually by saying that, right?
Malaysian Chinese and
By saying that the whole notion of a Chinatown, a little India,
Mm.
is already against whatever you're trying to say already, because like, but it is by human nature that okay, let's not talk about let's not talk about our privileged mindset whereby you're being open, right? But even in our as much as we are open, right, it's still a natural human tendency to be drawn towards familiarity. Familiarity from visual, visual
True,
skin,
true.
nature, to language,
True.
to the rituals and stuff like that. It is normal. Like we can't blame that. But yeah, I get what you're trying to say. That
No, but
it is definitely an intentional. It's an intentional.
But it's very
thing.
sad.
It is.
It's
sad.
super sayang,
Yeah,
right?
it is sad.
You
I
see
mean-
like a group of like Malaysians
Hanging out with Malaysians only.
hanging out with only Malaysians, even though they're overseas.
You look at public universities, dude.
There's not really a cultural exchange in that sense.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Kesian a bit lah.
It is, dude.
And then they come back to Malaysia, and then the mindset is the same lah. The exact same.
Because it works here, right?
Like what the fuck is?
So what do you think
wrong?
about the JPA scholarship? The whole notion of you see, think about. I mean, my experience being overseas, the university I went to, majority of the Malaysians who were there, who are clicking together,
Scholars.
are majority scholars.
It's true.
And I would argue that the whole identification of I am a scholar, therefore I have to commune with
Other scholars.
others who are scholars.
Like you belong to this smart group of people.
Is the whole notion that's creating the whole sort of
But it goes back to familiarity lah, and people not being not brave, but people not being
brave
brave lah, brave enough
Adventurous,
to
stepping out of the comfort
venture
zone. Yeah.
outside of their social circle that they're so comfortable in.
Yeah.
And admittedly, even I did that though in Australia. Like I stuck with Malaysians, but I did try to play football with white people.
Would you say that is also an attribution of how rich your culture is? Because if your culture is rich in the sense whereby in Malaysia, for example, you have so many, like say being a Malay, being a Chinese, there's just so many ways of doing things. Being a Malay, being a Chinese, being an Indian, being an Indian Christian, Indian Buddhist, Chinese Buddhist. Like when you pack your bags, you also pack that along yourself, right? When you go to a foreign country whereby there is not many people that is so rich in culture, they don't really identify with a specific culture. Like you naturally will gravitate to people who are of the same
More-
richness, right? You know, get what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless they
More
really,
familiarity.
unless they unpack their cultural
Which, to be fair,
heritage.
there are people, locals, who really being receptive of
So-
mixing around.
Take for instance, I think all of us, when we go overseas, at least our cultural heritage is not as strong. Like both of us are not super Chinese.
Yeah.
And you are, okay, you probably are. I don't know, man. What
The fuck you say?
are you super Malay when you went to
No
Melbourne?
lah, of course not.
So that also attributes to how you can break off from that shackle of familiarity.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it is difficult to break off from that. Like,
So it has to be intentional, I think.
yeah, it
In the
has to be
education
true.
system.
It has to.
Yeah, it has to be very, very, very intentional.
But unfortunately, I think the way that our education system has set itself apart, unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, it is the efforts of Mahathir. There is a lot of segregation in even in the primary and secondary education system, whereby there's SJKCs, SMKs, SJKTs. It's really so segregated there, whereby each individual culture is so in tune with their own culture. Whereby when they go into a higher tertiary education overseas, right?
There
There's
needs
not-
to be a culture shock also. For
Yeah,
them.
there's a
The
culture
psychic
shock.
distance, the psychic distance is so far.
There's a culture shock, and then the culture shock unfortunately
Scares.
breeds fear.
Fear.
So it scares them, and then they need to go back to where they feel comfortable lah.
Unless you like go to international schools and whatsoever lah.
Yeah.
So I guess as if we draw it back to as Malaysians, what's the solution? If we can't control the education system, we can control how we build, how we bring our children up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
for
encourage
sure.
them to
For sure.
encourage
To
them
socialize with
socialize
other
races.
races.
I mean, your mom, for example, wow, freaking open-minded. I mean, I love Auntie. If you're watching
Auntie.
this,
Full
you
respect.
are one of the most
Auntie uncle.
affectionate makcik I've ever met. So
Don't call her
welcoming.
makcik lah.
Okay, sorry. Sister.
But no, I admit I'm a very, I'm in a very lucky position
Yeah.
to socialize with others. I think it's the greatest benefit to me. Like it's the greatest value I've ever had by socializing with other races, other people, etc. etc. Like I don't know, it just gives me a lot of happiness. Like being with Malaysians of different cultural backgrounds,
agree with
different
you,
races,
absolutely.
different whatever it is. Because I don't see an issue in it. I don't see any problem with mixing with.
Yeah.
It's
I
it becomes
think-
second nature.
I think it's also like
no issue.
personal choices of not binding yourself to follow that system. Like even though the system is set in such way, you don't have to like behave or follow it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, like because recent years you see
But-
so many
yes.
like Malay families send their kids to Chinese schools.
Mm.
And when we're in Chinese schools, we also have like
Malay friends.
Malay, Indian
Yeah.
students coming together
Yeah.
or learn Chinese. Or even for
What's
vice
that?
versa. It's the same thing. If you go to like sekolah kebangsaan, you don't necessarily have to be, oh, you have to like talk Malay all the time whatsoever. So
I feel like people think that somehow when they mix with other races, they
Will
are
get brainwashed.
influenced.
They will
by-
get takut.
Correct,
kena
correct, correct,
brainwashed
correct,
kan?
correct, correct. They
Yeah.
takut get brainwashed.
but once you break that barrier,
Yeah,
it's like,
then
oh
okay.
shit.
Because at the end of the
it's
day,
cool.
you have to understand that you don't get brainwashed because it's in your control.
Correct.
It's in your control
Yeah.
to listen to someone and act upon that. Like,
Take it or leave it.
yeah, correct. Like, you don't need to fucking think like, oh fuck, I'm with these people now, I need to be like that. No lah, fuck, be your own fucking person lah, and just do your own
that
shit.
being said, though, that is only for individuals who have reached a certain level of maturity, emotional, mental, self acceptance maturity. Because I mean, honestly speaking, if I was a teenager, being in a hip hop culture, I would be.
Yeah,
freaking-
yo,
next minute I'll be hip hop if I get.
like
if I-
fucking California.
If I'm in a golf culture, next minute you
I'll
see
be
me
golf
freaking like
okay.
golf culture. That is what it is, right? Because
Yeah, it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I guess it has to start from your own upbringing. lah.
Like even like in high school,
We're all product of nature.
yeah, even in high school, so I had quite a few like white friends, and then I would act like white people lah, because
Yeah,
it's just
accents and stuff like that. Right?
yeah, correct, exactly. And then, but over time, like again, it goes down to maturity lah.
Yeah.
Whether or not you are able to think for
That's
yourself. and
But
shit.
on that note, though, I am incredibly grateful. One thing, if I'm gonna say, I'm very proud of, I'm very grateful of being a Malaysian, is that I'm super
Yeah,
grateful
man.
being brought up in a multicultural country.
yeah,
Because why?
100%.
Like the the fundamental exposure to differences basically gives me this ability to be able to adapt. Like, you know, I'm so surprised that there
We
are
are
a lot
the one of the most adaptable people in the world.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you may call us copycat and stuff like that. Like accent wise, like I could put on a freaking Australian accent if I want to, like, anytime, British accent, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is like, I'm so grateful that we're brought up in different multicultural. Like, I mean, the fact that I can hang out with Johan in a matcha,
Go to Hari Raya open house.
exactly. That's the beauty of
Yeah, man.
differences and how we can adapt to differences, right? And then then unfortunately we were exposed to individuals who are in the Western culture whereby some of them they're never exposed to another culture.
Yeah.
Or even leave their country their whole life.
Which is so
Or
fucking
even their
sad.
town.
Yeah, dude.
So fucking sad.
That's crazy.
So it's like their world is just there.
Yeah.
I mean, we cannot discount them as well. Like, because, you know, it's by circumstance that they are maybe too comfortable. They have everything that they need there. They don't have the need to really expose themselves to different cultures and environments. But their minds is so close right now. And whenever an introduction of, say, a new Chinese or Sikh family into the culture, their only understanding of their culture is whatever media feeds them.
Yeah.
And media today, unfortunately,
It's a business, man.
it is a business.
It's all business.
But yeah, man.
Fuck, dude.
We need a matcha here, man.
Yeah, I got a couple of friends I can ask.
Adam Hussein!
I think he's man. Oh, right.
He's.
Yeah.
No, man.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Okay.
That's about it, I guess.
Yeah, done lah.
Oh, we talked damn long, you know.
Fuck, man. How long you talk?
That's about it, guys. So, if you're gonna see this video, it's gonna be the responsibility of the owner of this phone, which is Johan, to post it. So he'll be in charge of posting it. I'm not gonna.
I think there should always be a side note that, you know, this may not be a cup of tea for everyone.
Right. So bring your own cup of tea.
It's just something.
Yeah, and always, you know, think for yourself. Question whether
that's
question our own opinions. Question whether or not, you know, we are right, we are wrong. Have your own fucking say. Have your own fucking opinion. Don't just blindly follow us.
Where? You finish first, then I'll
But yeah lah, no.
close it.
The most important is that don't blindly follow us. Always ask your own questions. You know, think for a second whether we are right, and don't just think we are right. Think
Nah, just, yeah.
and debate to yourself.
Don't
Debate.
take things at face value.
Yeah, correct.
There's
correct.
so many information out there. It's fucking
Correct.
overloaded. It's fabricated.
And unfortunately, like for everyone, including ourselves, there's always a bias.
Yeah.
There's always influence and what have you. So yeah, just think for yourself, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, don't like it.
Yeah. So to close it off, I guess an analogy would be like, you know, whenever they come to this type of talk, you bring your own cup. Your cup could be your race, your belief, your religion, whatever it is. Your nurture, you're a product of nurture, right? But at the end of the day, we all pour from the freaking same cup of jug.
Water is still water, man.
Water is still water.
Like what Bruce Lee said.
But you bring your own cup of tea. So you do you. That's it, man.
Be water, my friend.
Be water.
Be water.
Okay lah, done lah.
Cup of tea.
Fuck you all lah. Go.
Holy shit, 1
How long?
hour and
Good stuff.